In the ancient mists of time, a lone voice rose above the cries of disbelief, a prophet whose devotion to God would test the limits of patience and endurance. This is the story of Hazrat Nuh, peace be upon him, one of humanity's earliest messengers, chosen to lead a people lost in ignorance. His tale, preserved in the Holy Quran and the Bible, is a profound journey of unshakable faith, miraculous intervention, a lesson that transcends time itself, and a timeless message of resilience and obedience to God's will. Hazrat Nuh, peace be upon him, lived in a society steeped in idol worship, corruption, and neglect of justice. The people had forgotten their creator, worshipping stone idols while indulging in worldly sins. It was in these dark times that Allah chose Nuh as his messenger, sending him to awaken their hearts to truth. The Quran tells us, "We sent Nuh to his people, saying, 'Warn your people before there comes to them a painful punishment.'" Surah Nuh 71:1. Day after day, year after year, Prophet Nuh, peace be upon him, urged his people to abandon their idols and worship Allah alone. He pleaded, "O my people, worship Allah, you have no deity other than him. Indeed, I fear for you the punishment of a tremendous day." Surah Al-Rayaf 7:59. Yet, the people laughed at him, casting aside his words as mere foolishness. "He is just a man like you," they would say. "Why should we believe him?" Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:24. But the Prophet's commitment remained steadfast. For centuries, he endured their rejection, holding on to his faith with unyielding patience. Prophet Nuh's life was an extraordinary test of patience. He preached for a staggering 950 years, according to the Quran. And we certainly sent Nuh to his people, and he remained among them 1,000 years minus 50 years. Surah Al-Ankabut 29:14. For nearly a millennium, he watched as his people rejected his message, mocked his warnings, and continued down the path of disobedience. Despite the ridicule and scorn, Nuh prayed for their salvation, pleading with Allah to guide them. Yet, in the end, Allah revealed that only a few would believe. When the people's hearts remained hardened, Allah's message came with finality. "None will believe, except those who already do. Do not grieve over them, for they have chosen their path." Surah Hud 11:36. Then Allah commanded Prophet Nuh with a miraculous task, one that would change the fate of the world. "Construct the ark under our observation and our inspiration, and do not address me concerning those who have wronged. Indeed, they are to be drowned." Surah Hud 11:37. As Hazrat Nuh, peace be upon him, began to build the ark, a colossal vessel unlike anything his people had ever seen, the mockery reached new heights. "Look at this madman," they sneered, "building a boat in the desert." Hazrat Nuh warned them once more, saying, "You may mock me now, but soon you will witness the truth of my words." At Allah's command, the earth burst with water, and the skies unleashed torrents. The waves rose like mountains, swallowing everything in their path. Before the flood, Allah commanded the Prophet Nuh to gather believers and pairs of every creature onto the ark. And when our command came and the oven overflowed, we said, "Load upon the ship of each creature 2 mates and your family, except those for whom the decree is preceded, and those who have believed." Surah Hud 11:40. As Hazrat Nuh, peace be upon him, watched the world vanish beneath the waves, his heart carried both relief and sorrow, for among those lost was his own son. In one of the most heartbreaking moments of his life, the Prophet Nuh called out to his son, urging him to seek refuge on the ark. And Nuh called to his son who was apart from them, "O my son, come aboard with us, and be not with the disbelievers." Surah Hud 11:42. But his son, choosing pride over salvation, replied, "I will take refuge on a mountain to protect me from the water." Surah Hud 11:43. Hazrat Nuh's pleas were in vain. No mountain could protect him from the decree of Allah, and the flood swept him away, leaving the Prophet to mourn a son lost in disbelief. After 40 days, the floodwaters receded, and the ark came to rest upon Mount Judy. Hazrat Nuh, peace be upon him, and the believers emerged onto a cleansed earth, ready to begin a new life. Allah's justice had been fulfilled, and his mercy restored. The Quran describes Prophet Nuh's journey, and it was said, "O earth, swallow your water, and O sky, withhold your rain," and the water subsided, and the matter was accomplished, and the ship came to rest on the mountain of Judy. Surah Hud 11:44. For his unwavering faith, Allah honored Nuh, declaring peace upon him and his followers. Peace upon Nuh among the worlds. Surah As-Safat 37:79. Hazrat Nuh's story is not merely a tale of survival. It's a testament to resilience, faith, and the eternal struggle between truth and ignorance. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming disbelief, patience and trust in Allah can bring salvation. The Quran emphasizes Hazrat Nuh's plea to his people and the tragedy of his son, a poignant reminder that faith, not blood, is what defines true kinship. While the story of Noah is also found in the Bible, the Quran uniquely emphasizes his mission to guide his people to Tawhid, the Arabic term for the oneness of God and the core concept of monotheism in Islam. In the Quran, Prophet Nuh's role as a prophet who continuously warns his people highlights his compassion and unrelenting hope for their salvation. In the Bible, the narrative focuses on Noah's obedience and God's covenant with humanity after the flood, symbolized by a rainbow. Each account adds to our understanding of the prophet's legacy and the consequences of disbelief. In both the Holy Quran and the Bible, the story of Prophet Nuh, peace be upon him, carries profound lessons of faith, obedience, and divine judgment. However, while the core message remains consistent, there are some key differences between the two texts that highlight their distinct theological perspectives. In the Quran, Prophet Nuh is depicted as a deeply patient and resolute messenger who spends 950 years calling his people to monotheism. His message is simple yet profound: worship none but Allah and live righteous lives. Despite his tireless efforts, Nuh's people continue to mock him, reject his message, and grow more hostile. The Quran emphasizes the emotional depth of Nuh's struggle, portraying him as a man of great perseverance who never wavers in his devotion, even when faced with scorn and rejection. In contrast, the biblical account of Noah presents a similar narrative of preaching and rejection. However, the Bible does not delve as deeply into the emotional toll that Noah experiences from the people's rejection. Instead, it focuses more on God's command to build the ark and the eventual salvation of Noah's family. The Bible portrays Noah's mission as somewhat more straightforward, with less emphasis on the personal struggle of the prophet. The most iconic part of Prophet Nuh's story is the construction of the ark. In the Quran, Allah commands Prophet Nuh to build a great vessel under his guidance, instructing him on every detail, from the dimensions to the materials used. The Quran underscores the divine precision and human obedience required to complete the ark, portraying it as an act of total faith in Allah's instructions, despite the ridicule from the people. In the Bible, Noah also receives detailed instructions from God to build the ark. However, the emphasis is more on Noah's immediate obedience to God's command. While the Bible acknowledges Noah's righteousness and unwavering faith, it does not go into as much detail about the ark's construction process, focusing instead on the miraculous preservation of Noah and his family. One of the most poignant moments in the Quranic story is the rejection of Prophet Nuh's own son. Despite Nuh's pleas, his son refuses to board the ark, choosing instead to climb a mountain to escape the floodwaters. The Quran captures the heart-wrenching moment when Nuh calls out to his son, only for the son to deny his father's wisdom and grace. This narrative emphasizes the emotional cost of Noah's mission, as his own family is not spared from the divine punishment due to their disbelief. In contrast, the Bible does not feature a son who outright rejects Noah's call. Instead, the Bible emphasizes that Noah's whole family, his wife, sons, and their wives, are spared. This difference in the story highlights a significant contrast in the Quran. The family bond is tested in the most severe way, whereas in the Bible, the family is united in faith and obedience, with no such division. Both the Quran and the Bible agree on the cataclysmic flood that follows as a direct result of the people's wickedness. The flood wipes out all life, sparing only Nuh and his followers, who are aboard the ark. However, while the Quran focuses heavily on the moral lesson of the flood as a result of the rejection of faith and divine will, the Bible adds a layer of divine covenant after the floodwaters recede. In the Bible, after the flood, God makes a covenant with Noah, promising that he will never again destroy the earth with a flood. The rainbow is introduced as a sign of this promise. The Quran, on the other hand, while acknowledging the flood as a divine punishment, does not emphasize the covenant in the same manner. Instead, it highlights the unwavering faith of Nuh and the finality of Allah's judgment. The Quran concludes with a message of hope for the believers who follow in Nuh's footsteps. Both texts emphasize Prophet Nuh's legacy as a pioneer of faith. In the Quran, Nuh is referred to as one of the ulul azm prophets, the ones endowed with great resolve and steadfastness. He is a symbol of divine mercy and guidance for humanity. The Bible, too, regards Noah as a righteous man, a symbol of hope and salvation for humankind. However, the Quran places a stronger emphasis on Nuh's role in warning against idolatry and calling for the worship of the one true God. Want to explore more stories of prophets and legendary figures? Chronicles of Timeless Tales brings you stories that transcend time. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more profound journeys from the past. Until next time, may peace and blessings be upon you.